And wow, I thank him so much for that tweet, because honestly, it lit a fire inside me to prove him wrong. And so he's shown up in my life at 22 when I read his book to start my business and take out a loan. It came in my life at 25 when I obviously won The Apprentice. And then he came back when I lost it all. And then due to him, I reignited it all again. So Lord Sugar's been a godsend to me. He really has.
What's your relationship like with him now?
Non-existent.
Well,
Non-existent. He wasn't a conversationist when I was his business partner. So let alone nearly 10 years on. Yeah. He didn't say hello to me when we were in partnership together. Really? No, he was a hard dude.
What mentorship did you have from him, or was it the team that he surrounded himself with that you worked with?
Well, I think there was an expectation of something slightly different. But again, I never want to talk to you bad about it because I took loads from it anyway, right? You get the 250 grand.
Yeah.
That was about 2 weeks after the show ended in December. It landed in my bank account. Yeah. Signed the contract, done. 250, boom.
Nice.
Yeah. Fucking big on
something.
Bad,
is it? Yeah.
Great, amazing. Yeah. Then you get him as your business partner. What a great accolade. Winner of The Apprentice. What a great accolade. Yeah. And then you get the monthly board meeting structure. Well, it became pretty clear very early on that they didn't know about the home improvement sector. They knew about manufacturing and tech. So most of his team were his financial advisors, accountants, FDs, and it was him. There was no marketing people, sales people, operations people. It was just finance and him. Yeah, and I got an hour with him, and mostly we spent time talking about the numbers, not how we got to the numbers. I was expected to have all of the answers. They didn't provide me any of the answers. His team just wanted to prove me wrong so they could look good in front of him. So I used to clash every time. You know, I'm not a guy that stays quiet. The first one I was quiet. Then I'm like arguing with them to the point of it became a very confrontational, especially after a bit of the time in. But that was a great lesson. They helped me a lot with accounts. The first meeting, and this is a great lesson for trades business owners and anyone in business watching this, is I had a nearly £1 million business and I didn't really understand accounting. Yeah. And I sat down in the first board meeting. They've given me a financial pack. I looked at it and I didn't really know what I was looking at. I didn't really understand P&Ls. I didn't get what a balance sheet was, and I didn't really know cash flow. Yeah. So they wrote a budget and I'm like, holy shit, I don't know what all of these documents are. I used to see my accountant once a year. I'd run in for 10 minutes, sign a document. Have I made a profit? Yes or no? He'd say yes. I'd laugh and joke and say, well, where's that money gone then? And then off I'd go back to work. And then that was cycle repeated for about 4 years until they made me realize that the first thing we discuss is numbers. We don't talk about anything until we look at the numbers. I mean, and that's the discipline of a big business, a bigger business. But it should also be the discipline of a small business. The reason it's not a discipline of the small business is because you don't learn you need it until you become a big business when you actually need it, right? So if they told you from day one that you needed it, most people aren't stupid. They would actually do the training. Hence why Trade Mastermind's been so successful, because people come in, they hear the things that I say or one of the trainers says, and then they go, holy shit, yeah, actually, it's probably smart that I learn how to do business. I'm a businessman now. I'm not a plumber anymore, an electrician or a builder. So I came away from that first meeting and I thought, I've got to learn about accounts. I have to go and get the knowledge. And so I did. Yeah, I say fool me once, but you won't catch me again. And I don't mind being humiliated. And I felt humiliated in that first meeting. They didn't humiliate me, but I felt internally humiliated. I beat myself up big time. Yeah. I don't like to look weak or stupid. Yeah. And so I went away and I used that as positive motivation. I went and watched every video I could on accounts on YouTube, and I got up to speed very quickly. And then it became about reading the numbers. But the other thing was about decision making. I can't stress enough how important the decision-making element to success is. Like, you've got to be able to make big decisions and you've got to back yourself. Too many people sit on the fence, or they look for permission for somebody else to tell them it's the right thing to do, that validation from mentors, coaches, boards. And that's the right thing to have, especially as you're building up your confidence. But I would rather make a decision and fail than I would make no decision and sit on the fence. Yeah. And success likes speed. You know, being a slow operator and thinking things take time rather than just fucking getting on with it and executing. You know, I operate to a philosophy now called ready, fire, aim.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready always, then I'll pull the trigger and I'll course correct along the way. I don't need things to be lined up perfectly. I can operate in chaos.
Yes.
Some people can't operate in chaos and it burns them out and they want to have everything in a process of how we're going to get there. Well, that's not what entrepreneurs do.
Yeah.
You know, maybe in bigger businesses with kind of people that are not so entrepreneurial and a lot more structured. But in a lot of cases, in the early years of growing a business, you're making blind decisions, not knowing if they're going to connect up. And you've got to put a little bit of that faith into the universe and hope that, you know, your destiny is going to align. Try not to make ridiculous, uneducated, uncalculated, uninformed decisions that could cripple you, because failure's okay, but there are small failures and catastrophic failures. You know, try and avoid the catastrophic ones at all cost.
Great advice.
You know, mine was a hard pill to swallow. It taught me a lot, but it could have been avoided. And it could have been avoided if I'd have had the right mentors and the right support at the size of the business that I was. And I had board members after Lord Sugar that had shares and stuff that were business guys that knew, again, nothing about the industry and nothing about my business and were part-time shareholders that sat once a month in a board that knew nothing about what went down on the front line, didn't understand the industry and didn't know what I was walking into. A good mentor knows what's coming for you. This is what's going to happen. I am the light in the dark, yeah. Leverage me and ask the questions, just like you can leverage and ask any questions you need to me. I'll be there to support you because you're on a similar journey, yeah. But there was no one to help, and so the reason again that I started Trade Mastermind was because I realized that the mistakes that I made at a national level was because it was the first time I'd ever got national, and you don't know what you don't know. So what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to not do it because I'm afraid in case I fail because I don't know what I'm going to do? Or am I supposed to do it and then fail and then hopefully it's not too big of a failure and then I stay in the game? Well, the solution is get educated at what you need to do at that level and get people around you that have been at that level in your industry that can sit with you and go, don't do that, do this, this is about to happen, watch out, yeah?
So learn from other people's mistakes who've been there, done it, and bought a t-shirt, really.
Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah.
Cool.
So with Trade Mastermind now, you're branching off into all these different avenues. You've got a Millionaire Mastermind, Renewable Mastermind, Boiler Academy. You've got all these things, the Trade Recruit, everything. So with all that coming in as one big company, really, that's what it is. How will you leverage that to potentially get out in the future?
Yeah. So the reason I'm doing that now and expanding into so many different areas is because I want to make the company indestructible. The biggest mistake I made in Impra, and I learn lessons from all of my previous mistakes. I'm always about making sure that the lesson doesn't go, unlearned effectively. And at Impra, now there is a formula of how you grow a business that I didn't know at the beginning. Yeah. And what trades businesses do, they start up and they diversify very, very quickly because they don't have a marketing strategy. So they think the more stuff they offer, the more people they're going to get. And that's not a bad strategy for a one-man band that knows nothing about marketing to begin with. The problem is it actually hinders the growth of that business without the business owner realizing. So they're following a blueprint of other trades businesses that haven't been able to achieve the scale either, thinking it's the right thing to do. So what you're supposed to do in business is you're supposed to specialize. So 0 to 1 million, you want to stick to 1 to 2 products. Yeah. And in trade and construction, plumbers, it's boilers or bathrooms. Electricians, it's solar and EVs. Now for plumbers and electricians, there's, air source, renewables. You want to do one thing. So you can create a perfect, repeatable week. Leads, sales, get paid, delivery, get paid, repeat. And then you can build systems. When you can build systems, you can hire people come in to manage those systems, and you can move away from being the operator, and you can go and open up new product lines without having to do the operations or the delivery. But when you get to 1 million, you want to start to diversify. Now, what I did at Impra is I spent 4 years building £1 million maintenance business by the time I was 26, realized that wasn't scalable scalable beyond 1 million. It was chaotic, and then got into boilers. Then from 26 to 29, I went from doing, 0 boilers to 6,000 boilers a year. Yeah, £1 million a month in boilers. But what I should have done, if I knew what I knew now, and hindsight's a wonderful thing, is after 1 million, I should have opened up other product lines, like I've told you before, And at the time, in mid-2019, 2018, there was no solar market. So I'd have absolutely done that one. Absolute no-brainer. Okay. Air Source was coming. I was getting MCS accredited, but it isn't what it is now. Now I feel like it's got real commercial value to it because it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The next 24 months will be a really good opportunity. We're launching the Air Source Academy to be able to capitalize on that. Because the market's growing and there's a great opportunity there. But there was no other products really to diversify. And I took boilers all the way to 8 figures on one product line. Wow. Now, that made the business very risky. And all that happened in 2019 was that I'd expanded really quickly. I'd gone to Glasgow, Scotland, Wales, everywhere, Cornwall. We had a lot of people, massive infrastructure costs. And in some of the areas, the product lines just really slowed down. It was a warm winter, Brexit was happening, people stopped buying, and it killed my cash flow. Yeah. And I was building on cash flow. But if I'd have had other product lines then that were successful in the marketplace, then one product line not slowing down wouldn't have took the business down.
It would have offset it. It would have been like a 12-month business, so you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Absolutely.
Bit of a dodgier winter.
Yeah. And so Trade Mastermind, we've got now just in the training business 5 streams of income: the Boiler Academy, the Construction Academy, the Solar and Renewables Academy, Millionaire Mastermind, coaching products, the 7-figure boardroom, like all of these other things, Millionaire Mastermind. So there's lots of product lines that appeal to multiple markets, meaning that if one product line slows down, then it's not going to take the business down. So that was the first thing I needed to do this time around. Okay. Straight after 1 million, diversify. Yeah. Now, Trade Group Services is all about, 2 things. Firstly, believe it or not, it's about our customers. Yeah, it's not about the exit value. Okay. Yeah, it's about ensuring customers have success on their training. Well, I've been doing this for 4 years now. I've worked with a lot of businesses, a couple of thousand businesses. And so businesses come in, they get the growth, and then they say, where do I get my people? Where do I get my leads? Where do I get my website? Where do I get my accounts? Where do I get my design? Where do I get my social media? Where do I get my podcast? Where do I get this, that, and the other? Okay. And so I got a choice. I can either set up partnerships and give that stuff to other businesses, or I can build it myself and control the journey for our customers. Because as a business grows, it needs all of these things. Training in its own right doesn't get the job done. You need people, you need leads, you need a website, you need the education, but you need support as well. Yeah, you need the support. So get people successful, they need access to services that can help them execute on the training programs. It's about customers first and foremost. It's also a fantastic fucking business model and a great business idea, that allows us to become a one-stop shop for trading construction business owners. Then you have Trade Digital, Trade Design, Trade Recruit, Trade Finance, Trade Portal, Trade Hub, Trade anything else, and then you can start to run marketing campaigns to the market in each one of these individual brands. Then you can cross-pollinate the leads. I could start running ads for Trade Recruit. Oh, by the way, have you got training? No, I just need an engineer. Yeah, but have you ever thought about growing your business? No. Okay, cool. Well, how about you speak to our guy at Trade Mastermind? Then Trade Mastermind. Well, I'm growing my business. You got anywhere I can get people? How about you speak to our Trade Recruit? So I'll have 10 brands that I can run unique marketing campaigns for that will cross-pollinate. And then it will just continue to feed the beast. And at every level of growth, the opportunity vehicle caps out. I believe that Trade Mastermind is probably 20 million a year in the training business consistently.